I think I figured out who Trump's VP is going to be.
Who's it going to be?
No, I don't want to give it here. I'm teasing it for the live show. I think that we have a JVL is always right prediction on the horizon. This is right now we've got a watch. We have a JVL is always right watch that looks like it could come into a JVL is always right warning. Isn't this how the hurricanes? Hello, everyone. This is JVL here with my best friend, Sarah Longwell. Sarah, happy Friday. So Donald Trump went to the Hill yesterday as part of his triumphant return, his hero's journey. What are your thoughts, best friend?
Well, I think that it's like watching a humiliation ritual for these Republicans. Mitch McConnell was there to shake his hand and greet him warmly.
Look, Mitch has got 40 years left in this business. He's going to have to work with this guy. And you want him to throw away his whole career, his whole life?
You know, what's funny about that is, like, I'd blame him if he did have 40 years left. So I don't even think the fact that he only has, I don't know, how much longer does he have? Not on this earth, but in this job? I mean, not
he's
very
out
long.
in 2 years, isn't he?
Yeah, listen, this is like somebody, it's a criminal returning to the scene of the crime, and the people he did the crime against are there to cheer him and welcome him.
They sang
give him
happy
a birthday cake
to him.
Yeah.
Can you fucking believe that?
Yeah, and they put 45 on it. His presidency instead of 78, which is his age.
Did they bring friendship bracelets too? Did they all sit and do their little Taylor Swifty friendship bracelets for him? And did they sign a card to I'm sorry, a bunch of grown men singing happy birthday to another grown man who they all secretly despise you called it a humiliation ritual. That's really what this is.
Yeah.
It
is flabbergasting. I mean, I'm sort of like running out of words to describe. I was like, lick spittle, callow, cowards, kiss the ring, bend the knee. But it's all the same thing that they do. And it's some of the news stations are doing this thing where they play the clips of McCarthy and McConnell and Mace and all these guys right after January 6th. And they're all saying the same, Lindsey Graham says, I'm done. Count me out. And Mitch McConnell says he was practically and morally responsible for the events of the day. McCarthy said that there's no doubt that I can't remember the word he used. I don't know if it was incited, but he directed the mob, something. The point is they all ran as fast as they could from those comments. And here's the thing about Mitch McConnell. Since that day that Mitch McConnell failed to impeach Trump, I imagine, and I don't imagine it with relish, but I guess I do imagine it like with some amount of I told you so or something to Mitch McConnell, because he decided to do nothing about Donald Trump after the insurrection. And he is living with his choices right now. And he's living with his choices in the way that what he has to do is he has to go shake the hand of a man who not only destroyed the party that Mitch McConnell worked for his whole career, but also made racial slurs about his wife, who was in his cabinet. She resigned from his cabinet. He's been calling Mitch McConnell, an old crow is the thing that he calls Mitch McConnell. And so the idea that Mitch McConnell was forced to shake his hand, fist bump him, greet him warmly, that is the situation he hath wrought. He made that bed, and I can watch him lie in it.
Can I do a little I told you so on behalf of both of us? For anybody listening to this who wasn't around on January 17th or February, whatever the impeachment date was, you and I did a show immediately after the vote in which McConnell gave his speech. And when we did that, out in the world, people were going, oh, did you hear what Mitch McConnell said? Boy, he really laid, what an extraordinary, unprecedented speech by the Senate Minority Leader to say such things about Donald Trump. And boy, he really laid into me. And you and I had a show, and I forget if it was The Secret Show or if it was Next Level or an Emergence, but you and I sat down together, and both of us said, none of this means anything. He'll be back. And this is at the time when everybody was like, Donald Trump is gone, his legacy. And you and I both said, Trump will be back and McConnell will be there, bent over for him. And we were right. We were right.
I remember the day Mitch McConnell was asked, when it started to look like Donald Trump could be the nominee, and Mitch McConnell was asked if he would support Trump. And Mitch McConnell, he was like ashen and sweaty. And he was like, I will support the nominee of the Republican Party, and that was when he eating crow. That was when he had to start really eating the crow. And like now, now he's full on in it. It was deeply embarrassing and humiliating and revealing. It's not even revealing because but like, it's funny if you watch the comments coming out of it, it's like Matt Gaetz being like, it was like a pep rally. Like they are buoyant in their willingness to be sort of like shamed in this way. This is how they project away from the shame, right? As they lean into it, like this is the happiest time of their life.
I love it here so much. This is the greatest gulag I've ever been in. So I found it funny the way that we had the setup and then the reality for yesterday, because the setup, all of the quotes to Politico, whatnot, were like, "Yep, this is going to be the forward-looking policy speech about his second term." And the reason we're doing this is because we're getting together with President Trump to hammer out his legislative agenda and to really, just start putting the bricks down on the wall to build up how we're going to govern with. And you had all these quotes from Barrasso and McConnell and Thune about this. And I was like laughing. In fact, Amanda and I did this on the flagship show yesterday. I'm just laughing at the idea that, oh, sure, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a policy speech with a forward-looking legislative agenda. Sure, guys. Sure, Jan.gif. And then immediately afterwards, you have all the background quotes from people in the room with we're like, yeah, Trump was just like your drunk uncle, screaming at the world, and it's all about his retribution. And okay, guys. Except that he might win. Right? All of this is hysterical if Biden is up by 15.
Right.
But he might win.
Yeah.
That's kind of a problem.
Watching him, this is like the depressing part. Biden's at the G7. People are making these cuts of him, making him look like he's doddering and like walking with, but like, it's not a great split screen. Trump does look like he's such a lunatic, but he like seems fine. Like, and people are also who are like, oh no, Trump is degraded. I'm like, is he like always been this? I mean, yes, he is a little bit like it's a more rambling kind of lunacy, but he's always been like this. And he was never a sharp guy. But he's a little funny, a little psychotic. But he seems perfectly with it.
All along, I said this is the problem with Trump is that he's always been like, and the truth is he is degraded. So if you look at shots of him, if you go and you do, and I've done this, I've done like 3 random YouTube videos of Trump speaking from today, 2024, 2020, 2016. There is a notable difference. Like he is slow. The energy is lower. He reaches for words and, he doesn't actually know where he's going. His ad libs seem less about him making connections, random connections as he goes and following them rather than like desperate attempts to like not figure out where he is. Like the sharks and the battery motors moment that we had. But the problem is, directionally, they're all the same. And directionally, they were always insane and incoherent.
Right.
And so insane and incoherent, you don't see much of a difference between like aphasia, insane and incoherent, and drunk. insane and incoherent. They're
Yeah.
all the same, basically.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So, this is what I was thinking about with this party, and we talked about it a little bit this morning on CNN, but I think we should really unpack it. To your point about they're gonna talk about policy, right? They talk about anything, right? It's a pep rally, like Matt Gaetz said. Like, that's a good characterization. It's a pep rally for Donald Trump because it's now a cult of personality. Mitch McConnell, like, none of the political project of Mitch McConnell is over. And
Judges, he wanted judges. Guess what? You're getting all Eileen Cannons the next term.
That's right.
Your federal society is gone.
Federal society gets to, like, clean up the scraps. Like, we'll take your list after we've nominated all of the people who've expressed outwardly how much they love Donald Trump. Then we'll take your original list into consideration.
And the FedSoc at this point is becoming just more MAGA.
Well, right, but that's how they gain relevance, right?
Right.
Is that they just go full in on Trump, and that's what they do.
Yeah.
But so here's my question. If you are nothing but a cult of personality, when that personality goes away, so he loses, he dies, whatever, what is the Republican Party left with? Like, what is it after Trump? Because it is just Trump now.
Well, hey, Sarah, there's more show.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Are we still talking? We have more talking?
We're still talking. The talking goes on, but that's only for the people who are inside the Velvet Rope, the Bulwark Plus members.
Oh, they got to subscribe.
Yeah, tell them to subscribe. Tell the people,
You should subscribe,
Sarah.
Guys. Why wouldn't you subscribe? You get all kinds of things. You get some extra me and JVL. You get some extra me and George Conway. You get JVL's Triad. This is one of the best things the Bulwark offers. I read it at least once or twice a week.
Yes. Go and subscribe. We'd love to have you.